Welcome everybody to the first episode of the Your Mate Tom podcast of 2018, and I couldn't think of a better guest than Jarrad Wright, the co-creator of the Big Lez Show, to start this year off with a bang. And I really hope that you guys had an amazing new year, and I really do hope that 2018 is prosperous for you all, full of success, abundance, love, and all that jazz. What would you like to say to the viewers about 2018?
Bring it on!
Bring it on?
Bring it on!
I flew up to the Gold Coast originally to get interviewed by Kai Lives, which I'll leave a link in the description box below, who was kind enough to also allow us into his home and have this space for myself and Jarrad to do this podcast. So a shout out to Kai, go check out his channel. And it's funny because when I reached out to Jarrad, I find out that he lives like down the road from Kai, so it was all meant to be. And Jarrad is one of those guys that, like, within 5 seconds of meeting him, he just felt like a soul brother, and we just got on immediately. And just the crazy amount of synchronicities and parallels and commonalities between us is just, it's insane. And I would like to thank some of you guys who do comment below and request certain guests like Jarrad on the show, because you never know. Sometimes it can happen like this. And this podcast, and I know I say this a lot, but this has been my favorite podcast experience so far. And I think a big part of that is that we got to do it in person. And I would love to do this in the future with guests. It's just, you know, obviously funds and stuff doesn't allow me to fly to whatever country I want whenever I want. It was just lucky for me that Jarrad is Australian and I live in Australia. But you know, we'll get there in the future. It's all a process, guys, and I'm having fun doing it, so it's awesome. But that's where I can see this podcast in the future, where the vast majority will be in person, because I just find that chemistry is a lot stronger and you're able to hang out with them in person before the podcast begin, like I did with Jarrad. It always ends up turning out for the best, in my opinion. We talked about all sorts of stuff, from crazy shit like Jarrad's UFO experiences to deep existential stuff, growing up in high school, Australian culture, and of course the Big Lez Show. I'm really happy with how this turned out, and I'm sure you guys are going to love it. I got a lot of cool stuff planned for you guys for this year, and certain changes and more ambitious projects. And if you guys want to find any of these stuff, like documentaries, go check out my Patreon. This channel is fan-funded by you guys, so people like you make this thing happen. Like, I wouldn't have been able to fly to the Gold Coast and meet up with Jarrad and do all this cool stuff without you guys. So deepest gratitude, love you guys. Whether you want to help out or not, it's all good. Even if you just comment, share and like these videos, that is help enough, and I really do appreciate it. So thank you. If you don't want to go down the Patreon route, you can always get some psychedelic merch. That also helps us out. Or you can donate some cryptocurrencies. I'll leave the addresses in the description box below. But yeah, do whatever you want. It's all good. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace. What's going on, everybody? I got Jarrad from the Big Lez Show with me today.
How you going?
How you going? What's going on with that? Well, it's just funny, like, meeting up last night, and like so many synchronicities have been popping up. It's been insane, yeah?
It's fucking awesome, eh? How good was the sunset? Sunset was magical.
Yeah, won the the rooftop here in Gold Coast, and like the sky was purple. And purple was like the theme.
Yeah, it was. Saw purple everywhere. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Well, not crazy, but synchronistic in a way.
What do you think? What do you reckon synchronicity means?
Fuck.
It's a loaded question.
Yeah, like synchronicity, the word itself is more complex enough. Like,
yeah,
synchronicity, I don't know. Like, for people who don't know what synchronicity means, it means like if something just happens and you go, whoa, what a coincidence, or whoa, that all happened at such a coincident time or whatever. It's just
like 11:11 or
yeah, you see numbers
222
or
whatever
something like that, or
yeah.
like yeah, you meet people at the time you just feel like you're supposed to. You're meant to hear something.
Yeah.
definitely supposed to along your journey or whatever. And it's just like synchronicity is just falling into the fucking default.
Falling into place.
Yeah, everything just falling into place the way it should, and like non-synchronicity is you fighting it almost, or like trying to go no, this is
like
how it's gonna be.
resisting what's happening.
Yeah, resisting it, and then when you just kind of like let go and fall into it, you automatically fall into a synchronistic state where
And it just happens more and more. It's like once you point out, like, like let's say, I don't know, 11:11 for example, once you point it out and you put that to your awareness, it just starts coming up more and more. It's funny, like Ram Dass actually spoke about this, like once you start getting more enlightened, whatever that means, it's like those synchronistic moments just start happening constantly all the time. And you get, like we were talking yesterday, it gets to the point where it's like, I'm not even like surprised, it's like, of course this happens.
Like, I remember that was me about 3.5 years ago. Where I was never really deep into any of this kind of stuff. I was just like, you know, I was a cleaner at these cinemas and stuff like that. Like I was real unhealthy point in my life as well, and just kind of starting to know all the conspiracy world kind of stuff of like how there's shit going on in the backgrounds and shit.
Were you like an angry conspiracy theorist?
Kinda. I'd say I was angry, like, fuck the government.
I don't know.
Like, you know, like
it's the first stage. It's
everyone's first stage, and that was where I was at. And then I never really could grasp the whole spirituality concept and everything, because to me it felt like that's a separate thing that you have to learn to attain, and to like you got to become a master at it, or it's just a separate skill or some
like you have to be a mystic or some shit.
Like you have to add something to yourself. But then I went through the journey of just going through all these experiences that made me realize, you know, everyone and myself like is spiritual by default. And it's just like, we are all spiritual beings.
We're spiritual beings having a human experience.
Exactly.
We're just along for the ride.
That's it. There you go.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you too, mate.
How many times have you been here for?
Oh, lifetimes?
Lifetimes, yeah.
Oh, fuck. This is probably my 11th time, I think. I got a feeling it's my 11th time. Because I actually got a palm reading too, not long ago. And I've never had a palm reading before. And as soon as she read my palm, it was my girlfriend's really good family friend. And as soon as she read my palm, she just like said, "Oh, you've come back again. You've come back." And I was like, "Well, yeah."
Isn't that everyone's deal though, in a sense?
Yeah,
like
everyone's come back, but like I feel like when you come to Earth, you got to go through like a lot of learning. Like you first time you have to start off as like a crab. Or like something, or a plant, or a tree. You gotta experience all the different kind of life cycles of like animals to plants to like nature to being a human to being a couple of different types of humans to being different genders and different till you just like you got a sense of what you are. And then I felt like, because I've had so many dreams where I've done all that, and I've not graduated, but I just like finished and went back home and heard the call for Earth, like, Earth's in trouble, everyone has to go. Well, you don't have to go, but you got to volunteer to go back to Earth. We need help because it's fallen down in its consciousness, and it needs help bringing it back home. So I felt like I just went, yeah, fuck, let's go. Let's go again. I'd like to go see the old beaches again and hang out in the old. I miss those trees in Australia. They're pretty cool.
It's interesting you say that as well, because it's like sometimes people forget that we are nature, not just a part of nature.
Yeah,
and everything's an extension of us.
That's it. Like everyone like has.
Plants were here first before humans, and then they became animals, and then us.
That's exactly it. Hey, the first life form. Like people are so well, the average Joe, the average Joe. Just sees the world as like we're put in this safety area, which is like cities and towns and stuff. You know, walk along the footpath, keep your shoes on, stay in between the lines and stuff, and out there in the jungle and stuff, it will kill you. So don't go out there and don't even think about it. Who cares? Whatever. That's just our resources. Fuck off. That's our home. Like that's we need to be working with that. You know, take your shoes off, walk on the grass, and fucking.
It's important to ground yourself as well.
Oh,
There's
definitely.
like scientific studies showing that it's not like.
Well, that's what I always say.
effect.
Like, you know, when you look at your hand, you got like all these like your fingerprints or whatever.
Yeah.
What they like are, they're like sensors. So like when you know whatever you touch and feel or whatever you like, they're like sensors, you know. And you've got the same thing on the bottom of your feet. So me and my girlfriend were having this conversation where if you got it on your feet as well, and when you walk barefoot on the earth, you do earthing or whatever, you really like soak up all those energies and you align yourself with the vibration of the planet, of where it's vibrating. And you align yourself with the planet so you become grounded in that sense. And it's like everyone wears shoes, right? Like has to go to work and do all this shit. And shoes are made of rubber. And rubber stops that electromagnetic or that electric kind of energy.
Yeah, like it just blocks it.
Yeah. So like when you're wearing shoes all the time, your feet would just go white and stuff, and all your socks that you use to wash in your washing machine and stuff gets just soaked up into all those like chemicals you use to clean your clothes, and then you're soaking that up instead of the earth throughout every day. You're doing shit, and it sucks because we all have to do it.
You have to, you can't just walk into a bank.
Nah, you
come
can't.
on, mate.
Yeah, we'll say this yesterday. Yeah, I fucking like how I walked into an airport with no shoes. And I was like, mate, what are you doing? There's no shoes. You've got to wear shoes in here. It's like, I'm not catching a plane. I'm just seeing my mate off. It's like, mate, you still can't wear shoes in here. It's like, being pointed out and stuff. Like Jesus, I'm just being free, you know. Like I just got back from the beach and shit. But you know, like, forgot where I was going with this. But yeah, that's where I was going. People are so like kind of used to when we're grown up, we have to go through school and stuff, you know, to stay in between the lines and
you got to wait in line. Well, the whole educational system was to train us to be factory, like assembly workers.
Yeah,
that was the whole purpose of it.
Yeah,
like do what you're told.
Yeah,
like if you're trying to be like creative or like, you know, think outside the box, they're like, no, you got to think this way because this is what we've been told. Because I don't know, there's a string of words that says so on this piece of paper. Yeah. That this old guy told me. Yeah. That's pretty much what it is.
That was like my whole experience through school. It was just you know, fuck your lines and grids. I'm gonna draw off the page. I'm gonna colour in. I'm gonna draw what I want. I was always drawing.
Were you a rebel stuff in school?
To an extent. I wasn't like a problem, like a fucking hectic rebel,
right. Like
but I was
just a playful rebel.
Playful rebel.
Yeah.
I was just like, you know, Jarrad, you got to do this, and I was like, no, I don't. I can do whatever I want. Yeah. Like in high school and stuff. Like since after 2010, like since you know free periods, those things that happen when you're in high school, and as soon as that happened, I was just like, right, well, my school experience from now on is just going to be one big free period. And I'm just going to chuck on the school shirt, go to school. I was like friends with the music teachers, so I was just like, can I borrow a guitar? Like, you got a free period? Like, sure I do. Cheers. And then I'd just sit out the back and play guitar. And
they're always really cool, the music teachers.
They always get so high, eh? They get so high. They always.
My music teacher got blazed all the time. And you look back on it, isn't it funny, like when you're a kid and you're like, I know you blaze up before classroom and then you think like, oh, the teachers don't know and shit. But then you look back, it's like, of course they knew. How could they not?
Fuck. That was like, one of my first experiences getting stoned was at school. And like...
How old were you?
I was probably I was in year 11, so I would have been about 17. Wait, no, 16. I would have been about 16.
Okay.
And I was chilling out the back and just like had a strong draw off my mate's doob because we were like smoking doobs out the back. And then for the rest of the school day, I had like PE and science and fucking music. So I was loving music. I was like, this is sick. Yeah. This is the sound.
Music was the best.
Yeah. And we used to like play like metal, like heavy metal shit. Really?
Yeah. I used to be in a metal band actually.
Really? Yes. Same, like a little one. Like,
what bands were you into?
Parkway Drive.
Yeah.
And like Machine Head and
Machine Head. I saw him like an evening with Machine Head. It was
yeah.
Like Trivium and
nice.
Lamb of God and all them.
Nice. I've seen Lamb of God live.
Yeah.
Metallica. I was a real
course,
Metallica fan.
That's what got me into.
Same.
One.
Yeah. 1, 2. Seriously. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Guitar Hero.
Yeah. Guitar Hero. Yeah. And then I'm like, I started getting really good at Guitar Hero. And I'm like, I might as well just put more effort into actually playing a real guitar.
It's exactly what I did, man. Guitar Hero started it for me.
There you go.
Well, there you fucking go, man. That's sick.
Nice to meet you again.
Nice to meet you too, man.
Synchronicities.
Synchronicities.
Exactly. Nah. But yeah, fuck it off. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, how like teachers just know that you're stoned. Like I was in science and I was sitting next to my mate and we were coming up with this bizarre story, we're just making it up, like there's all this shit going on, like oh yeah, you gotta, everyone answering questions and stuff. Me and my mate are at the back, both stoned, and I'm like cracking up and we're like, I'm drawing this thing on my school book and we're imagining of this underneath Tweed, like where we live, underneath all this, just imagine if there was a massive basement that just covers the whole thing underground and you can fit like a theme park in there and you can fit all these shit in there. We're just like making all this stuff up, what could be in there and stuff, like yeah, there could be like crates and crates of Mountain Dew for some reason and like for some reason all the elevators going deeper. We're just like cracking up with all this stupid shit we were coming up with. And then my teacher, who was it was a science teacher, and he was like pretty strict but he was pretty laid back, kind of surfy, kind of older fella, and he just like looked at me and he went, Jarrad, you got anything to answer to this question? I just looked up like, what? The reddest eyes, glazed.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. And then he just looks at me so serious, like, and then he smiled and he's just like, don't worry. It just like left me to do it, and then he asked someone else. So I was
he like clicked, and he's like, oh, when he must have had like reminiscing when he was a kid.
That's
or something.
Exactly what we said.
Don't worry, mate. Continue to have a good time.
Boys will be boys, kind of thing.
Such an Aussie attitude as well.
Yeah.
So like that.
We had an ag farm. We have an ag farm at our school. I went to Tweed River High School, and the ag farm is like kind of in the school, but it's sort of separate, and there's like cows and shit. And you used to always see the teachers on their free just like sneakily walking to the ag farm and meeting each other up there. They're all going for a chuff at the back of the fucking ag farm. Apparently there was a plant growing in the ag farm at one stage, which was great. But yeah, teachers, they know. They've all been there.
Because you think it's like they're adults, of course they know. But when you're a kid, it's for some reason you just make up stories in your head that you're like, I'm super sneaky. Of course,
they're adults. They've
done it all. It's like how you think about your parents when you're a kid. Like you don't think of them as, hey, they actually used to be a kid as well, and they went through like these hormonal periods, and they have to go through all this shit. Yeah, they're just mum and dad.
Exactly. Yeah. When you're a kid, you just think, oh, they're adults. They're straight as fuck.
Yeah, and you used to be like afraid of them. Then you're older, and you're like, oh. I used to be afraid of you. Just like you're a person like me.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we have a lot in common, you and I. So
now exactly. Did you during school, was that when you started coming up with the concepts for the Big Lez Show?
Oh, I've been doing that since I was like, not Big Lez per se, but like that kind of shit since I was in primary school.
Really?
Like when I broke my arm, I broke my wrist in 2006, and I was in year 6.
How'd you break your arm?
Fell out of a tree. Climbing a tree, and then I like grabbed onto this like this dead branch, and I fell sideways about 5 meters and landed on my elbow. And when I hit my elbow, my fucking 2 bones that are in there fucking shot up, disconnected from this area, disconnected from my wrist. One of them broke into 3 pieces and came out there.
Holy shit. So you saw your bone?
Yeah, I like thought it was a stick stabbed into my arm, and I like grabbed onto it, and then I saw my skin move. I was like, oh, that's me. Oh shit. my arm was like full on zigzagged, and like if you're a fan of Big Lez or whatever, in the episode where it shows Clarence's like backstory, and he like lands on Earth. when he's like, oh, my arm. And he's like, breaks his arm.
I like how chill he is as well. Like, just broke my arm.
Oh, well, just gotta put a smile on your door, I suppose. But when he broke his arm in that episode, that's exactly what my arm looked like. I drew that based off my broken up. And getting on the green stick, you know, in the ambulance, fucking getting morphined up to the shit house. That was great. But that was actually when I broke it. I actually had like a DMT kind of experience.
Really?
Like just before I fell, I saw a black cat walking along the fence that's near the tree, and I was like, oh shit, this means something. Fuck. And broke my arm, and then everything went like purple and like quiet, and I can relate it to like being on mushrooms or something nowadays. Back then I was only like year 6, I would have been 11, 10 or 12. It was near my 12th birthday. And so I was home from school for like months at a time. This was the time when Steve Irwin passed away.
Yeah.
Because I was like one of the first of my mates to go, oh, did you hear the fucking shittest news ever?
That was a sad day.
Yeah, it was a sad day. And so I had all this free time just at home by myself. Mum was at work. I was just able to just feed myself, just like popping those antibiotic pills and shit, and in the sling and everything. So I just decided to draw my own comics.
Yeah.
And just like, you get the A4 pieces of paper, you get like fucking 10 of them, you fold them and then you staple them, and then you just like draw little lines and squares, and then you just fill them out with just whatever happens next, and you just keep going. You don't have a set story.
You just free association.
Yeah. You're drawing it and writing it and reading it as it goes along.
It's life, right?
Yeah, it's life, mate. That's life. You can't plan your life. You can think you are, but it's kind of
you can either go with the flow or resist it.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, I just like I've always like been into stories. Like even at a younger age, I like used to always love, you know, playing with action figures and shit, and like making them do like real cool shit. And making my own comics. I used to have this comic called Fireman and Iceman. And it was just about this guy, these two blokes that are just like in a science room or something, and they're just fucking around with all these beakers, like, oh, what's this? I'm gonna drink this. Oh, let's fucking play with it and stuff. And then they turn into these superheroes with like powers and shit. One of them's got all ice and water powers. One of them's got fire and flying powers. Yeah. And then the whole comic's just them fighting each other, fire and ice, and it's just who wins, you know. And it's just like. It's so fun to make, and from that I just like made more and more kind of little mini comics just for my own amusement, and incorporating like Spider-Man and shit, because I fucking love Spider-Man.
Me too.
Yeah, fuck yeah, man. Who doesn't love Spider-Man?
I know, right?
Fucking Doc Ock, mate. Oh, fuck
Sicko.
Yeah. It's absolute mad. Like, but yeah, and then. Throughout high school, it came up with like the same, like the characters that everyone knows now, just between mates and myself. And
how old were you when you first started coming up with the characters?
Well, so it would have been around 2009. But even before that, Big Lez came about because he was based off my dad, my mate's dad, because like.
You see, I've met a lot of people like Big Lez.
Yeah.
Oh, we were talking about yesterday. It's like every character in the show.
They're just duplicated.
They're like archetypes.
Yeah. Like how I said, Mike Nolan. You can find a Mike Nolan in any work site in Australia.
Oh yeah, just cash in hand.
Yeah, Mike. Yeah, man. You got it, man. You got it. You got it. But like, So the first character was Big Lez and Quinton, and they all just like had that relationship of just like. Oh, fucking son, you made your bed, you know. Oh, fuck you, Liz, you know. And it was just, I was just fun to work with.
Like, clean your room, fuck off, Dad.
Yeah,
so many. I've heard so many of those conversations.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's nothing related to my mate, how he was my mate's dad. It's just that persona of his dad was just so iconic that I had to use that character. And that character grew and grew and grew, and I used to always draw him on my school books and stuff and just make him do funny shit until one day got the school laptop given to us in 2010, and we were the first wave of people in high school to get these laptops. So everyone's just like, oh boy, yes, I'm gonna get my assignments done and all this sort of stuff. And I'm there like going, oh, I can't do that. So let's just see what else we've got on here. Oh, it's got Paint, nice. It's got Audacity, fucking for recording. You can record music and my voice or whatever. And video editing software, which was
oh really?
Premiere.
I never got a laptop.
Didn't you?
No. When was this?
This is I was in year 10, so it was 2010.
1 year after I left.
Yeah. That's what. Yeah.
Motherfuckers.
But yeah, so I played on that, and I was just made like because I've always been drawing the characters and stuff, so I decided to draw them in Paint, and then
just with the mouse.
Yeah, just
trackpad.
No, with a touchpad. Yeah. The whole first season and second season of Big Lez was all drawn on a touchpad. That's why it's
that's a pretty good effort, man. Seriously.
Oh, it took a long time.
Because you can tell the massive jump up in quality
when I got a pen.
Season 2 to season. Yeah, when I got a pen.
Drawing like a normal human. Do like that all the time. Just coming over my mate's house. What are you doing? Just
for those people don't know, so you do every frame by frame.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's not like frame by frame. It's a lot weird to like how normal animation goes. I'd say for an average episode, like I just finished this one that's coming out very, very, very soon.
Yeah.
Nice. That one goes for about 10 minutes, and that was almost 1,500 pictures drawn for that one, or I can't remember. It might have been
1,000
2
pictures.
Might have been 2.
It's actually funny because I've done that once. My first
really?
A+, like outside of maths, I suppose, but the first assignment I ever got in school that I was really passionate about was like an animation I did, but I just did it through Paint actually.
Yeah. Nice.
And this did it through what was it, like Microsoft PowerPoint or something?
Oh, like Windows.
I don't remember what it was, some stupid thing. I called it like South Park Seniors or something. I couldn't come up with a better name.
Yeah.
And it was just like gangs and violence and drugs and shit. Yeah. And like the assistant principal came. He loved it. Got an A+. Yeah.
Nice.
I fucking loved it. Yeah,
I actually got marked on Big Lez because like how I said how like for year 11 and 12 I was just absent from all my classes. And I used to get in shit for it from my teachers, but they just like, it became that kind of common where they're just like, oh, has anyone seen Jarrad today? Like, yeah, he's chilling out the back. I'm like, leave him. He's not fucking coming to class anytime soon. We'll just let him be.
Yeah. At least you were working on something.
Yeah, I was working on something. That's when I was just always by myself, like when everyone was like in class and shit, and I was just like, fuck, well, I'll do this. Yeah. And I actually turned up into English one day, and my teacher's just like, what are you doing here? I'm like, I'm coming to English for the first time in a year. It's like, where have you been this whole time? Like, I've been on the school grounds.
I've been in the vicinity.
Chilling. I've been playing music and stuff. Yeah. But I just thought I might come in because, aircon and what? And then all my friends that were in my classes and stuff were telling my teachers, like, this is what he's been doing this whole time. And she watched it, and as fucked as it was, she like laughed and everything. And
really?
She like, you know what, I'm going to mark him for it, because this is actually productive as fuck.
What'd you get?
I don't know. But I got marked at least, or like ticked off for doing something.
At least, definitely a pass at least, right?
Probably. But I left before I could have graduated, because, they were just like, well, mate, you haven't been at school for like 2 years, but you've been on the school grounds.
It's like a grey area. Technically you were here, but like you didn't come to class, mate. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And half of the school didn't even know I existed. Like they're just like, I like came into the front office one time, and I was just like, I've been here for the past 2 years. I've just been playing music and wagging every day, but I come, I sign in, I like have my shirt on and shit, just wait for me mates to finish school so we can fuck off and go for a boog or something, go for a surf. And they're just like, wait, what's your name? And like going through all these papers, and I'm like, oh, Jarrad Wright, and like, and they didn't have me on the books and stuff. They were freaking out because technically I was there on the books, but in reality I wasn't there. So they're just like, we have to expel you. Like you can't be here. And I was like, no need, mate. I'll leave. It's all good.
Save the paperwork.
Yeah, save the paper. I'm I'm going anyway. That's why I was coming in to tell you. Because this was at the time the HSC, like the
hilarious.
the fucking assignment time where you actually got to. So I was just pretty basically, you know what? I haven't studied for any of this. I haven't been here, but I've been here. But I'm just gonna go because I won't pass anyway. So
no point.
Yeah. So thanks for babysitting me, and we'll leave it at that. And I left.
Nice. When did the Big Lez Show actually start gaining traction? Start to get popular and stuff.
Fuck, I have no idea. That was
Was it during high school or like after you left?
It was kind of during high school. Like in 2010, I spent the majority of that. That was at the end of 2010. I think it was when we got the laptops. That's when I started to make to play around in that and teach myself animation with using what was at hand. And before that, I just finished like a massive book like that thick. That's was a comic, like one of the biggest comics that I made, and it was like 50 pages, and they were like all A4, like in a sleeved kind of book that had all the characters in it, had all the story of like Big Lez and Sassy and everything, and I just like drew that all for fun and had my mates come in with like input, like, oh, you should put this in and that, like that. And it's like, yeah, right, yeah, I'll do something like that just to make everyone happy and be able to show it through my mates. And then, yeah, so I made the first couple of episodes, just like Volcano, Bong and all that sort of shit. In
How'd you come up with that idea?
Oh, that's a good story. Me and Tom, we created like a lot of the all the Sasquatch beings and Clarence and the Tumors and mainly Sassy. We both came up with Sassy when we were both stoned on my trampoline one night. And
as you do,
yeah, as you do. And the way we came up with the Volcano Bong idea. Have you seen the movie El Dorado?
Yes.
Do you remember?
Is that the one when they find like this secret
city of gold?
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Alright, sweet.
Alright.
So before me and Tom were hanging one day, we wagged school obviously, and we're just walking around and like going for an adventure on foot as you do, just like, where can we go? Let's go do something. And I went to call up my mate because we only had fucking shit all money back then. I had $5, he had $5,
Yeah.
so we're like, let's get a tenner. Why not? And so we went
get
to
tenners anymore?
I don't know, probably not. And
just for those who don't know at home, tenner is half a gram of weed.
yeah, just the smallest amount of weed you can buy.
Yeah, pretty much.
And this is when I was just starting into smoking, and Tom's smoked like a few years before me, so he's just like, and he stopped for a bit, so we're like kind of getting back into it together.
Yeah.
And he's showing me the ropes, you know. And so we went for a massive adventure on foot to go see my mate to get a tenner. And we got it, and we're just like, fuck yeah, we got a tenner. It's not much, but we'll give it a go. And as we're walking along the footpath, like by this football field, we're having a conversation, and Tom just like stops and looks down, and I keep walking, still talking. And I look back, and he's just like stunned, and then just like picks something up on the ground and just holding his fist, and he just goes, yes! And sprints out so far, like 50 meters into the fucking football field, and then comes all the way back, and he's just like, look! And it was a 50, like a 50 of weed. Like,
oh really?
Yeah, in a Dead Kelly bag, like a Dead Kelly like saddy bag, and it's just like a pure just awesome nug, just left there, just perfectly on the footpath.
And when you're that young, finding weed is like the greatest thing in the universe.
I know. After we just put our hard-earned savings of $5 each to get a tenner, the universe gave us a 50. So we're just like,
good job, you're on the right track.
Yeah, mate, you gotta need this. Tenner's just not gonna do it. You gotta need this. And we're just like, fuck, you staying at mine tonight? Like, yep, we're gonna stay home, we're gonna watch Disney movies. We get so stoned and watch all the Disney movies. We watch like Cars and fucking Bugs Life.
Nice.
And then we watched The Road to El Dorado.
Yeah.
So in The Road to El Dorado, there's a scene, if anyone knows the scene of around the start, or if you're watching it after hearing this, there's a scene in it that, spoiler alert, but there's a scene at the start when they first get to the City of Gold, and all the people of this city looking at them, these two guys, like they're gods and shit like that.
Yeah, I remember that.
And the two blokes just start having an argument towards each other, and all the city people are just looking at them going, what the fuck are they talking about? And they're having an argument, you know, like, blah, but you said this, but I said this, blah, 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 fucking. And in the midst of all this, in the background, there's a volcano erupting, and it's just like going skits, and all the city people are like looking at them arguing and seeing the volcano, and just like, well, all right, something skits is going on here. And then the volcano is just about to erupt, right? And then in the midst of their argument, one of them just goes, all right, enough, stop. And he just yelled stop, where it like echoed, and then all of a sudden they all look at the volcano just stops, and all the smoke's in it just goes and then stops, and all the smoke just goes and then you hear the volcano go and it's just like, oh, no shit. Yeah, if you watch it again, look at that scene and you just be like, what
I'm gonna watch
happened?
it tonight.
And then the movie carried on, because after that scene, everyone just looks at them and go, they're gods. They just stopped the volcano. Anyway, the movie carried on, and half an hour in, me and Tom are still going, they still haven't explained how the fuck the volcano stopped. And like, they just completely just moved past that. Are they gods? Like, and then they just completely ignored it. So me and Tom are trying to think, how could have that happened? Like, what's the reasonable explanation for a volcano to just stop and then suck its smoke back in and then just be finished? And then we just had no explanation, so we just went, Sassy did it. It was Sassy. Because whenever you can't fill in an explanation for something, it was just Sassy was there and he did it. Like, cause
that's what he does. What does Sassy represent to you?
The impossible, and infinity, and just solid dude.
He's a good guy.
Solid guy.
Very humble.
Yeah, very humble. So that's how Volcano Bong became to be, because we were thinking, well, if Sassy did it, how did he do it? It was like, oh, it's a volcano bong. It's like some sort of mechanism with the rocks and stuff where, like, you know, you use the lava at the top and in the inner tubes as like kind of like a filter, and all the weed and fuckloads of crops of weed just gets chucked into the top and just incinerates. All the smoke from the volcano just like is huffing up the air, and then there's all these chambers around the volcano edges that you suck the smoke back through it, through this rock pipe, where they're in the middle sucking it, like fucking getting the sore throat, but they're Sasquatches so they can handle it.
It's worth it.
Yeah, and that's how the volcano bomb was made.
No shit, that's awesome.
From finding a 50 and then going home watching Disney movies can create wonders for the imagination.
It's really interesting. Has your like philosophy evolved since the show started? Because I'm sure like your intention behind it now is like a lot deeper than what it used to be when you first started.
It's grown since like as I've grown, the show's grown as well. So it's like I was saying before, in the years 2011, 2012, that's when I was just getting started into the whole conspiracy concept of things. And it was actually around 2013 it was, where I actually started to see a lot of things in the sky for the first time. And I've always wanted to see stuff in the sky, like UFOs or any sort of weird, strange phenomenon. And in 2013, I was lucky enough to see a number of weird stuff, like really bright green lights in the sky.
Just around your house?
Yeah,
or?
just around the Tweed area. And if you look back on, I don't know where you can look this up, but in 2013, there was like this site that shows you where the most activity of UFO activity or something is in like around the world. And in 2013, it was Tweed, Gold Coast and the hinterland area. That was the most activity in that year. And I was lucky enough to be the one to be like, you know, what the fuck is going on? Trying to connect all these dots, and it was blowing my mind because I first saw this real hectic green light. I was coming back down on the Gold Coast with my mate at night time, and I was talking to him while he was driving, and I was just like in the passenger seat going on about something random, and I was just like staring into this one bit of the sky and the stars, and all of a sudden it just lit up green like a big huge fireball the size of a full moon, just like falling, and it was just like flaming, going through clouds. I was like, oh, like holding my mate and start like holding onto the car, thinking like, this thing's gonna fucking impact. It's like some plasma weapon or something. The fucking government. What the fuck is going on? And then I saw it hit behind the hills, and then just the behind the hills kind of lit up green like a weird kind of plasma looking thing, and I was like holding onto the car, my mate like that.
Just freaking out.
Yeah, I was waiting for the big initial impact. He's like, what was going on? I was like, what the fuck was that? So I said, we need to, because he was driving me home and I live on a hill up there, and I said, we need to go up to the top of my hill, that's where I live. We need to go up to the very top so we can see if we can see anything burning in the distance or anything like that. And we went up there and you couldn't see anything in the distance, but we counted almost about 6 or 7 military helicopters just flying and circling around, and there was one.
So it's not something that you just saw, like you can.
No, it was on the news.
Someone else can vouch for it.
It was on the news the next day. But this is a weird story. I haven't told this in a long time. But so I saw these military helicopters. One was like flying really low, and it had like a big opening, like the big police helicopter on GTA 4. If you know what they look like, because that's what I was just like. That's what it looks like. It looks like one of the fucking GTA 4 helicopters. And I'm pretty sure they had guns on the side. They were military. They were dark and
like shit's going down.
Yeah, something's going down, and they saw that thing as well. So I'm just there going, what the fuck? And I made a post on it on Facebook.
Yeah.
I drew it in paint as well. I drew like a mini comic because I'm so good at comics. So I made a comic strip of exactly what I saw out of just a cartoon. I said, did anyone see this? And everyone's commenting on it going, where was this? Well, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, it was here. It was about this time. And then I had a mate of mine who's a surfer, and he like always watches the surf cams and everything like that. And he said, this is really weird, but 2 hours ago this happened on the surf cam. So he sent me a link to the surf cam, and it showed what time it was filmed, and the time I saw it, they were 2 hours apart. And this surf cam was filming from surface, so I was looking out the ocean that's over here, and you look on the horizon, the video was this. A big white ball just rising out of the ocean like it was the full moon. I first looked at it. Was that the full moon? Just a time lapse?
So it looked like a moon.
It was just a big white ball, and it looked like it was a time lapse, and it just like rose up over the water, and then just went, and all like right over Tweed. And this was 2 hours apart from when I saw this green thing fall out of the sky. So I'm at my dad's, showing him all this, telling him my story, and just going, what the fuck is going on? Because it was the first thing I've ever got to witness, and I was just really weirded out by like, this is so abnormal. I've never been in this weird kind of experience before.
Did you ever think that like, oh, maybe I'm just going crazy? Or
no, because a lot of other people saw it as well.
Yeah. That's the difference, right?
Yeah,
like
it's
different if you just saw it by yourself, chilling.
I've had those moments before.
I
can't like a lot of things I've seen. I can't tell anyone because it's like, oh, I was by myself.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. And the weirdest thing about all this, I was talking to my mate. He was showing me the webcam footage, everything like that, and I made the comic strip, blah blah blah. The next morning, I got a message on my phone from my mate. He was saying, where's your post? I was commenting on how come you deleted it. I was going to show my mate. I didn't delete it. And I looked on Facebook and it was gone. My post was gone about the green thing falling out of the sky. My comic that I made, it got deleted. And then I even checked my mate's message of the webcam footage on this webcam surf site, and I checked to see if that video was still there again, so I can copy the link and send it to another mate. And that video is being deleted as well. I go onto that link to see if that video is still there, and there's just there's a little box with a red X in it. So like, what the fuck is going on? So that day, me and my mate that I was with when I saw the green thing, we drove back up the coast, and I was talking about everything, all the weird shit's going on, and so maybe we listen to the radio and see if anyone's talking about it. And they were talking about it on the radio. After every song, the radio host was just like, now if anyone was driving back in south on the M1 last night on the Gold Coast, you would have seen a bizarre green light. If anyone saw it, please call in and tell us what you saw and what you think it is, blah blah blah. And they kept saying that like after every song, right? And then we're waiting to hear what they were going to say. And then they didn't say anything for like 4 or 5 songs. We're just like, where the fuck are they? Like, talk, you fucking...
Yeah, like surely someone's seen something.
Yeah, tell us. And then they get back, right? And they just go, the quickest thing they can get it out as fast as they can. They just go, hi guys, sorry for the late announcement, but NASA just got a hold of us and said just nothing to worry about. It was just a bit of space junk in the air. Next song, final charts. That's it. So I was just like, bull fucking shit.
You just had to keep asking questions, didn't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You can tell they just called him up. It's like, mate, just leave it. And
shut your fucking face.
Yeah. So I was just like, that wasn't a bit of space junk. That was something way more bizarre and it almost looked metaphysical. And so I waited for it to be on the news later that night because I was telling my mum, I was like, it might be on the news. It might be on the news. Then it was on the news. You know what they said?
What?
A meteor shower. A meteor shower has struck and a bit of meteorite has broken off and caused a green nothing to see here, folks. It's just a meteor shower. So you're fucking telling me, the radio tells me that NASA tells them it's a falling satellite or it's a bit of space junk. Now the news is like Channel 9 news is going, it's just a meteor shower. And so that's when I like developed my absolute distrust in what the news tells you and what everything, because I was just like first hand seeing all this sort of shit and being lied to at the same time. Just going, there's something so weird going on here.
And people cling on to what the news say.
Yeah.
But the news said this.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, the news is just
Yeah, no need to get everyone knows.
Yeah, everyone knows it already, but. And so for the rest of that month, a lot of weird stuff happening because I was delving into it because I was really intrigued, because after seeing that you become obsessed with it. You just want to find out what's going on. And so I was a cleaner at the cinemas at the time, and I was telling the security guy that I see every night before he leaves, and I have a chat with him just at the stairs while he's having a cig. And I was like, did you see that green thing the other night? And he's like, nah, but my mate, he lives over in Murbar and stuff, and he's been seeing heaps of weird shit in the sky, looking over at Springbrook. So, what's he been seeing? He's like, he tells me he doesn't believe in any of the stuff, but he says every time he went out of his house and had a cig, he was looking up at the hills of Springbrook, and he said he saw this blue little light just kind of like hovering around the hills, and then it would just like light up and be somewhere else and just chilling. Light up and just like zigzag around the mountain range. And he's like, I'm imagining some sort of...
And when it appears, it kind of... Well, I haven't seen one myself personally, but is it like really slippery in terms of like it's constantly changing forms and stuff? Or
it looks like... Because I've seen heaps of the blue one. He comes and says hello all the time. This year especially. Yeah.
Just passing through.
They are very cheeky. They are very, very cheeky. They
understand humor. This is a cosmic giggle, man.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like game. It's like the playful personality of everything, really.
Yeah.
It's just cheekiness.
Yeah, I even find psychedelics to be like that too.
Mushrooms are fucking funny as. Not as in everything's funny, but like they're funny. Like they talk to you.
Like silly humans.
Yeah. They come up with puns and shit that you didn't think of, and they're just like telling you this, and you're just like, what? Psilocybin, you.
Silly Simon.
Silly Simon, exactly.
Silly Simon.
Yeah. But what was that? Oh yeah. So I was asking around like who saw this stuff, and so he's saying his mate, who's just a everyday kind of tradie fella, he's seeing stuff in the sky. Then I see something in the news a couple of days later. of some other website of people down in Robina seeing triangular ships coming by and flying over. They're trying to take photos of them. Their phones die, all three of them. So like all these stories are all popping up at once in the span of a week. That all this happened. And my brother, he was in the army. He was in the Army Reserves, so he knows what helicopters are, what's ours and shit like that.
Yeah, like he knows the different models.
Yeah, you know, if you saw something, you'll be like, oh yeah, that's the
fucking... That's an AR-20.
Yeah.
Whatever, yeah.
He knows the lingo. And, and I was like full on just going, there's something going on in Tweed, there's fucking, it's so weird. And he was onto it as well and keeping a lookout. And he was having a surf one day, and he saw these 3 helicopters like flying around, and when he was like at his car, you know, drying himself, he saw these 3 helicopters coming in from the ocean out here at D-Bar, and they were coming in out of fucking nowhere. 3 recon helicopters, military recon helicopters, going straight out into the hinterland of Tyagum, or whatever you say, however you say it. And apparently there's a secret military base. Ooh, it's a secret. But apparently there's a military base out the back there, and they were just like, heading towards there. So he sent me the photo. He took a photo of the 3 helicopters, sent me, and I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? But seriously, this is interesting, exciting, and also what the fuck. And that all started my massive questioning of what's going on, and
something else going on.
Going on.
And who knows what they are, because obviously, you know, take everything you hear with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Obviously, but it's like, what are your thoughts on what they could possibly be, or, I don't know, do you want to...
Oh, well, I've said on a podcast before, on Josh Wade's podcast, that they've appeared to me in my bedroom.
And even your parents have seen them as well, and they thought you were crazy.
Like all my mates, all my parents and everything, thought at the start of it, thought I was just like, oh, I've fucking got psychosis or some shit, or like something's wrong with Jarrad. He's had LSD and he's done something with his mind, like something fucked up. He's stuck in a loop or some shit.
Yeah.
And I'm just there, just going, no, I just can't put it in English of what I'm saying, because I couldn't speak what I was saying.
Yeah, it's just articulating it.
Yeah. It's just like you see it for the first time and you can't describe it, but like over time I've got...
Because when you don't have the language, it's very hard to communicate.
Yeah.
It's like someone, like, I don't know, like an average Joe trying to explain the psychedelic experience. But then you've got Terence McKenna, it's like, okay. He's like, you know, mapping it out, right? The subjective psychedelic experience or whatever. Yeah.
That's it. Terence McKenna, his voice is just so good for doing that.
Puts you into a trance, doesn't it?
Yeah. And so what I think they are, because I've seen, especially this year, before this year I just saw like a taste of them, like bits and pieces here and there, with mates as well, and a lot by myself. And what there would be, I always watch satellites. I know what satellites look like, so I'm always fascinated by, oh, there's one going there. And there would always be this one that comes so randomly that just appears, like you looked away and then you look back and there's just a bright light just like chilling, and it's going way slower than a satellite. It looks like it's lower, and you're looking at it and you just like, who's this guy? Like, what is it? You feel like a connection, because I have to backtrack, but when I was going through this first experience of going, oh, there's shit going on in my hometown and around the world, obviously, I need to look deep into this. It wasn't until 2014 where I had my first initial spiritual awakening experience, where I actually had a Kundalini awakening.
Really?
Spontaneous.
What triggered this? Should I be asking?
It was triggered by a quarter tab of LSD. Just a quarter tab, and that was the first time I ever did psychedelics, and I didn't really feel it at all, but it was just enough to help me
moved energy around or something and
let go.
Right.
It was there to help.
It's a bit similar to me. Like, it was my first mushroom trip. It wasn't even that big of a dose, but just kind of reconnects you with like your inner child. And you're like, whoa, I can't believe these trees and amazing nature's been around me this whole time, but I haven't like paid attention to it.
Yeah, it's like you get brand new eyes.
Yeah,
almost.
or old eyes that you just forgot
Yeah.
that you had, right? It's like
Yeah.
kind of just shedding off all these conditions in a way.
Yeah, you definitely. Yeah, you're shedding off all.
Yeah,
your,
and then
your
it's like
old belief
it's giving you like a
systems
goal, and it's like you got to work your way up to that without the use of them.
Yeah.
In a way.
'Cause
Yeah. Anyway, sorry to
all before
interrupt.
that. No, you're
Yeah.
right, because that's very true. Like before then, I can safely say I was in a tunnel vision state. I was just straight. This is that. You know, fucking footpaths, traffic lights. You know, and then when you
like, I was like video games. I was like
video games, fucking dinners at 7, sweet.
Yeah, and all that stuff is awesome. But
And all that stuff still exists, but like once you open your mind, it just becomes like
it's like stepping outside
extra stuff.
your house for the first time. Like you've had
Yeah.
you know, and experiences from A to Z, which is like inside your house on psychedelics is like stepping outside. You're like, oh my god, there's a whole other world out here.
Oh, what's this sun and moon? Did you know there's a moon out there? And people still inside going, you're fucking crazy.
Yeah.
You seen the stars, man? You're like, what are you talking about, mate?
Shut up, hippie, mate.
Yeah.
They're just watching like Channel 9 News or whatever. Yeah.
But yeah, like, what was I saying? Oh yeah, the lights.
Yeah.
So, you'd see them just like kind of like cruising along, right? And they just really stand out, even though they're a light. But it's a different type of light. This is what I always say: is like you're looking at a light, but it's alive. You feel like it's alive. Like it's aware of itself. It's like an energy form. It's not someone with a torch or like a fucking satellite reflecting off the sun. Because I've seen them do that in the afternoons.
It's something else.
Yeah, something else
out of the
entirely,
ordinary.
and you know it. Like you just I don't know, you feel it more than anything. And the first one I saw was when I was camping with my two mates, and it just came along, just really bright. And then when I looked at it, and I said in my head to her, I said, "If you're something, can you let us know?" Inside, I sent it to her, and then as soon as I said that, this little light just really gradually just lit up blue and purple with a piercing white light in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And it brought like water to my eyes. Like I was kind of teary, and I felt like a real pressure, loving butterflies, you know, in my chest, and you know, a big rise of energy, like I'm a kid again, like whoa, like
Whoa.
excited, like oh my god. And you see it, and then it like lit up so bright, and when you're staring into it, it's like a magnet, like you're just lost in it, and it lasts forever. And then it dimmed down and just kept going, and I was like, my other mate Josh, he's just like, no, that was a satellite, and just went back to the campsite. And then like obviously he just went, nah.
Is he like the skeptic of the group or?
Kinda, but like he jokes around.
Yeah.
And me and Tom, like Tom, the other guy who does the show, he's like,
Your other mate Tom?
Yeah, my other mate Tom. And he's looking at it, and I'm looking at him going, I don't think that was a satellite, man. And he's just like, yeah, I don't know what the fuck that was. And then 2 weeks later, we were down on the beach, actually way down there, and I was on acid at the time, but Tom wasn't. So it's like confirmation, like I'm tripping, he's not. Witness, you know, that's sober. And we went for a skate. We had our skateboards, and we followed the beach footpath along for a while. And then I'm just in a state of just like, fuck, I wonder when I'm gonna see him again. Because they're always on my mind. And then I like looked up, and I'm tripping at this point, and I just like softly just looked up in the corner of the stars and just saw this white flash of light go. And then I just like smiled. I didn't go whoa. I just like smiled really calm, and I just said, "Oi Tom, up here, we need to stop skating and go onto the beach and smoke this doob." And chill and wait for something. And he's like, yeah, okay. And we just both just without really talking about it, just like went down to the beach, sat down, barely talking, and I'm tripping. I'm at the peak of my trip.
What was the dose?
Oh, it was just one cube. And so we're sitting down, and I'm just like feeling so good, and we share a joint, and we're just like watching the satellites. We can see satellites. And then before drove us down to the beach, I was joking around with Tom, and I said, "Oi, just in case, let's send an invitation out there to see if they'll come." So I just jokingly said, "If anyone's listening out there, we're gonna be skating down the beach. come by if you like. And he said it too, like, we were just joking, look at each other like, hey, someone won't come. And then, yeah, we got there, and yeah, I saw this flash of lights, said, Tom, let's go sit down on the beach. Smoked a doobie, watching satellites, and then we were both real quiet all of a sudden, and then we see this really bright one come right overhead, out of nowhere, and it starts cruising along, and then we're both in our heads going like, please, please, please be something. And then as we were both silent, but as we both said in our heads at the same time, without telling each other, we said, please reveal yourself, or please show us that you're you, blah, blah, blah. And as we both said that simultaneously, it lit up again, just so bright, so blue. And this one made me tear up because I was tripping. So I was just like way more connected to it. And I felt like a strong connection to it as well, to my heart and this light. And it's like when you're looking at it, the light, it's a really bright white light. It's almost like golden white. And because it's so white, it has a blue tinge around the sides and almost a purpley kind of aura around it. And it's almost like you're seeing the light in the physical, and at the same time you're seeing another layer with like your third eye, like you're seeing it on another level, like you're seeing the physicalness of it and its metaphysical properties as well. To
like a transdimensional.
Yeah, transdimensional. Yeah. So you can like comprehend, like you can see it in so many different layers.
Because it's not fully, it can't be just physical.
Nah, no way.
That's where everyone's looking.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, but I can't, I can't measure it. Like,
Nah, it's completely different.
It's not real because it's not here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'm talking about yesterday, like everything that exists now came from the non-physical. It starts off as an intention or thought.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like dreams, man. Like they feel so real at the time, and when you wake up, you go, "Whoa, that was a dream."
Yeah.
That felt so real.
Yeah.
Where do the dreams exist? Like this exists here, but where does the dream world exist? It's just other dimensions, other layers, other. It's not inside your brain. Your brain's just like an
receiver.
Antenna,
a receiver of consciousness. Yeah.
And it's just built so we can channel this weird shit that's going on. Like we were saying before, like everything's made of atoms, and everything together is all just a big collection of just trillions and countless atoms. When you think of it, atoms are almost like pixels putting together this hologram that we live in, and nothing's really there.
Yeah, well, because like the underlying structure of reality is all made up of the same substance. This is what quantum physics is saying now.
Yeah.
But of course, like we were saying yesterday as well, is that you're never really going to know. It's like a never-ending rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And like it's fun to try, of course, and
it's fun to try.
Conversations.
It's fun to.
Now I've got it.
Yeah.
It's like trying to hold on to water. It's just going to slip out your hands.
It's exactly right.
It's a paradox.
And that's the human experience. Like we come from a place from where we do know everything on this level. We do know what's going on.
It's like we know, because I have had these feelings before. It's like we've come here for a reason.
To get stronger.
I know a lot of skeptics can say, yeah, that's confirmation bias to put meaning onto your life. Whatever.
Yeah, I've heard that sometimes too,
But it's so overwhelmingly powerful, that feeling. Like, and that's what the synchronicities is for.
Yeah, exactly.
In a sense, you're on the right track, mate. Keep going.
That's it, mate.
That's it.
You got it, mate.
Yeah.
Absolute superb.
Yeah, and like you were saying, like coming up with ideas. Like I don't even believe in originality. I just think we're tapping into stuff that's already there in the ether.
Yeah,
sense.
That's it. Like I always say, everything that you can ever imagine, or anything that is ever like whatever you think of in your imagination is real somewhere.
Yeah. Well, because they're not because people identify themselves to thought, which is not us.
Yeah, exactly.
We're the observer. How can we be the thought and the observer at the same time?
Exactly. Like that voice in your head, that is you.
Yeah.
Who is it? Like I remember Jim Carrey says this. Who is it that is aware that I'm thinking? And it's just like, it's just like I've heard other theories that when you come into Earth, you actually separate your soul, and your soul, I guess you can say, is what God is, or the universe.
It's like a fragment, because soul, a lot of New Age followers believe that a soul is like, no, this is my individual soul. And I believe, my last life was like an African child or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, it's all part of the same. We're everything. Like,
Exactly.
you know what I mean? Like, you're a reflection of me, I'm a reflection of you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I always say, like, outside of all this, the human experience, because we come here to learn, to learn about all that sort of stuff, to learn about duality and limitations and all that sort of stuff.
To transcend it.
Yeah. And to see if we can, forget that we know everything and how the world works, that we get to actually play it. Be full of surprises and wonder and everything. But if you knew everything, you'd be bored.
Yeah.
You'd be like, well, that's going to happen. This is going to happen in the future. Well, fun, but spoilers. They're spoilers. Like, if you knew everything. So, like, your soul, before you come in here, is like, say my shirt is your soul. And when you come in, you agree just to that much. And that's you. And then you can bring more and more of yourself, of your higher self, into your physical self. And there's probably another part of you in the world that's existing as well, but they're all part of your one soul. It's like when everyone says they have near-death experiences, they go back to this light, and they are this light. And I've been there. That was
like source.
Yeah, source. Yeah. That was where my first experience was. It was the Kundalini awakening, and I was on my hill that I had many dreams about, and I was just, as soon as the sun went down and the acid's gone away completely because I had it in the morning, as soon as the sun went down on the hill, I just felt this rising of energy come up through my feet, and because I was like touching the ground, I was like feeling this presence of like energy on the hill. My mates are talking, they're around the background doing something. And I've wandered off because I'm just like touching the ground going, I feel like there's someone standing here that we can't see. And then I stood up and I felt this massive energy rise through my feet like snakes, like a snake energy, kind of doing this and going. It felt like it was under my skin. And I didn't know what's going on. I've never heard what Kundalini means.
Did you get like freaked out a bit or?
No, I was
just let it happen.
Surrendering to it like it was meant to happen.
Best thing to do,
Yeah. And I let it kind of, it climbed up through me, it went through all my chakras and stuff, and I was just like, lifted my arms up, and all of a sudden, as soon as it reached my head, everything around me, it was all shadowy because the sun just went down, right? So all the trees and all the grass and everything that was around me was like piercing, reflecting this white golden light just out of everything, out of all the leaves and everything, like the sun was coming out tenfold,
expressing itself.
Yeah, and it was really slow and really gold and just beautiful, and I was being consumed by this light until this feeling of this like massive energy reached my head, and the light's all happening what I can see. And as soon as it reached my third eye and the top of my head, my whole vision was just this white light, and I couldn't feel my body anymore, and I wasn't my body. I was like just taken out, like
ego death sounds like
complete, like whatever this is, whatever we're in, whatever the human experience is, whatever Earth is, the universe, blah blah blah, felt like I got completely taken out of that, and I was just floating. But I wasn't just my body floating, I was it. I was this light. Yeah. And it's also, I was surrounded and being comforted by an even greater light, which at the same time felt like it was me as well, but a higher part of me. Yeah. And I was there just so safe. It's like you're being hugged by the universe, like saying it's okay, you're safe. And I was just so happy, so much love, like, this is what love is. This is the source of love I'm in, like, right now. This is as good as it gets. This is just...
And we all have it. That's
we all have that
like you said about surrendering. It's not about, like, trying to find love or happiness on the outside. It's just about...
Just let it go.
Let it go, man. It's so cliche, but the hippies had a point.
That's it. And I got shot back into my body after this. So I had the feeling... like there was beings that were just starting to appear themselves. Like I didn't see them, but I knew they were there. And it was like almost like hands reaching out, like angels or my relatives or something like that, saying, there was a party going on. It felt like it was a massive party, like congratulations, going, oh, we miss you, or we can't, blah, blah, blah. We can't wait to show you all this. And I said, oh, that all sounds so great, but I can't leave just yet. I've got stuff to do. And then as I said that and made that decision, I started to float back, and I was falling into a darkness kind of space while the light was going away. And as I broke that connection, I instantly regretted going, oh, I should have at least said I love you or something. Like, I felt bad. I didn't say anything more. And then all of a sudden, all sound came back, like, of the cicadas and stuff, and I was just in my body, and I was just like looking around. I was like looking at my hands, and it felt like it's been like 1,000 years since I've been back in my body. And I'm looking at all my mates, and they're like wearing clothes with like brands on them and like sunnies on top of their head, all these different haircuts, like trendy haircuts and shit.
Trendy haircuts, yeah.
Whatever you want to call them. And I'm looking at them going, yous are not how I remember yous. Like, yous do not look like how I know yous.
Yeah.
I see yous as like natural, older. I remember yous being older and more mature looking, but yous look so young. It felt like I was like in millions of years into the future or the past, and I just came back to this point in time. Like my body, my vessel is just like, it's just a vehicle, and my real self is just traveling in so many different places, and I'm just here now.
Yeah.
At least part of me is.
Yeah.
And I instantly bursted into tears. I was just crying so much, but laughing, and I was just like, it felt like in all this experience I was getting deja vu times like 20, and someone was behind me pouring a massive bucket of information about everything, and all that there is to do with anything was just getting poured inside me, and I was just overwhelmed. I couldn't speak for the rest of the day. For the rest of the afternoon, I did not speak at all.
So I gotta process this shit. We'll try my best to.
I'm still processing.
Yeah, of course. It
like,
takes a lifetime.
Takes a lifetime. Takes lifetimes.
Yeah.
But to me, it's just like, fuck it, I'll deal with it when I'm back home. You know, like home.
Yeah.
You know? Like, but right now, I just gotta focus on whatever I'm synchronizing.
Enjoy this ride.
Yeah, enjoy the ride. Enjoy the roller coaster.
Yeah, 'cause you're only gonna be Jarrad once. At least
Exactly.
in this timeline,
Yeah,
anyway.
exactly. Multi dimensions.
Yeah.
But yeah. So after that, that's when I was really open to absolutely everything. I was just busted open, and I couldn't talk at all of what I experienced, and I was really trying to find what happened to me. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know anything about the spiritual, but I just somehow have this understanding. I'm living in synchronicity every day, and I'm just looking at it like it's just so normal. Just like, what the like, I know what's going on a deep level, but I've never heard of this before. I've never heard of this in my like growing up life before. Like, what have I tapped into? Have I gone crazy? Have I fucked something up in my brain?
That's a terrifying thought.
I wasn't terrified of it, because I was just like, I don't care. Even if I did, this is a good way to live. This is a good...
It's a good attitude to have.
Yeah. I don't care.
You told me that before.
Yeah.
This
is good anyway.
Well, it's like, I said this quote today. Joseph Campbell said that the psychotic swims in the same waters in which the mystic swims with delight.
That's cool.
Right?
That's cool.
So it just depends on how you handle it, whether you're crazy or a mystic, and that's why so many geniuses, it's synonymous with madness in a sense as well. It's like a thin line. It's just a dance between
it is
order
just
and chaos in a way. Yeah.
Yin yang. If you stay on one side, you'll never learn the other.
Exactly, and you have to balance the both, because I feel like pain and suffering is a price ticket to existing.
Exactly. Like you're
gonna go through it whether you like it or not, and you can be the most optimist person. And of course, it's better to be optimist. Yeah. For sure, but it's just accepting and allowing that darkness as well when the cycles come. It's like seasons.
Yeah, exactly. Because no matter what, it exists. Yeah. And people try to avoid the dark.
Well, it's like what
looking at.
Kai said. It's not the darkness that fucks you up, it's the resistance to the darkness.
Yes. That is yes.
Yes. I like that one too.
Nail on the head.
Yeah, nail fucking... But, exactly.
Oh, where was I going with this? What was the last thing I said about...
the Kundalini awakening, and then it changed.
Yeah.
And you thought you were crazy a little bit.
I didn't know what it was. I had no idea what happened to me, and I was trying to search for answers. Like, I was just like, where the fuck can I look at it? I was looking it up, crazy white light experience, out of body, what is going on? And I just like heard a lot of near-death experience and stuff. Until this was the most randomest thing, and it was synchronicity as well. I was driving home by myself in my car, and I look on the side of the road, and there's a man walking by the lake, and it's a monk dressed in orange.
Like the orange, yeah, the Buddhist.
Full on Buddhist, like full on like bald and everything, just like going for a stroll in his monk clothes.
Just being.
Yeah, just being. And I saw this guy, I'm like, because I was in such a spiritual high after that experience. It went on for like a month where I was just like,
afterglow. It's like, it's the opposite of a come down.
Yeah.
So a lot of people think that, it's like they're just nasty drugs, like blah, blah, while they're drinking alcohol and smoking a cigarette.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Eating Maccas and shit.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It was like such a... It was
McDonald's
such a
for those, because most of the listeners are not Australian.
Yeah.
What the fuck is Maccas?
So I was like driving along, right, and I see this guy, and I'm just like, this guy would know. He's a fucking monk, man.
Yeah.
This guy would know. So I pulled over. I drove back because I was like, after seeing him, I was like, kept driving and going like, did I just see a monk? Fucking, I'm gonna fucking get some answers. So I like fucking drove past him. I see him in the distance. I'll park ahead of him. It was like a bit of a stalker. So I was just like, got out, waited for him to walk past, and I approached him. I was like, hey there, mate. And he's like, yeah, what is it? And I said, sorry to like jump up on you or anything like that, but I saw you and I felt drawn to really connect with you and talk to you, blah blah blah. And he's like, yeah, what is it that you want to know or whatever, or want to talk about? And I said, I had this experience like a couple of months ago, and I'm still trying to figure out what it is. I've looked into things that sound very similar to it, but I still feel like I don't know exactly what it was. So I explained to him, I explained my whole story and everything I was feeling and stuff, and he just like looked at me and smiled. He's like, and I was just like, do you know what it is? And he's like, the Kundalini. And I was just like, Kundalini. I was like, so what is that? It's like, it's very, it's very common in places like Tibet and stuff like that. People go their whole lives to doing meditation,
have that experience,
and to have this experience. And I just said, I've meditated once in my life, and this happened spontaneously. And he's like, okay.
You didn't tell him that you dropped tabs?
Not really. Not really. But it was just a quarter tab. It was barely nothing.
Yeah.
I barely felt it. But he was saying like, yes, that's common too. Like the spontaneous, it happens when you're ready. Like you can search for it your whole life, but it still won't happen until you're ready. And I was just like, well, I don't know if I was ready, because I'm still like, what was that? Like I felt like I prematurely had this.
But you don't choose when you're ready. Or
you're
never really ready.
Nah. You're at least
happens.
ready for steps.
It happens and you just deal with it the best you can.
That's
really.
it. Yeah, that was my experience.
Yeah.
Because I had all this with no answers whatsoever, no education on anything on the subject, and I had to start from the fucking top and fucking process that and learn for the past 3 years. And this happened, 3 years ago. And I've been on that journey ever since, and just like falling in love with synchronicity. And it wasn't until I started to learn a lot through my own experiences of what things are, and I interpret them the way I interpret them. I explain them the way I can only explain with my words. Trying to, like, if my friends come to me, they've got like a question that they've gone through, I'll try to relate it to what I've gone through, and try to do my best to help people kind of understand.
That's what we're here for, like, just to help other people along the path. Like, come on, mate, let me help you out.
That's it.
This way,
Just being a light, and that's actually what my palm reading was about. I got told, you've come back again. You've volunteered to come back. You finished doing the life school and all that. You've gone home, but you decided to come back to teach, or to bring. No, that's what she said. You're here to bring about light, and you're here to express that light, to just whatever you do, and just pass on that light. So I was like, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
I can do that. I'm gonna try it.
I think that.
Give it a go. I can give it a go. And then I found out my numerology number is 2 or 11. Well, the 11 2. And then I was like, what's 11? Because numerology goes up from 1 to 9. And there's the 3 exceptions of master numbers 11, 22, and 33.
Okay.
I found out I'm an 11, so like the cycle starts again. So like it made sense to me with the whole coming back for like volunteering. Like you start from 1 to 9, you become a 1 or a 2 or 3, up to 9, then it starts again. Or if you come back in a second time around, you become an 11, which is called the messenger, the bridge between worlds. Is what that was
Yeah, I've
called.
got told a very similar thing by a shaman, but
yeah. And 22 is the master builder, and the 33 is the master teacher. And I got a few master teacher mates, and I can see it in them straight away. I was just like, yeah, fuck no, it's just right there in front of me. This isn't made up. Like it's real.
And truth is hidden in plain sight.
Yeah,
it's everywhere.
Fucking right
there.
Yeah,
it's like you were saying on the Josh Wade podcast. I think the first one, like how even in movies and stuff, people just like, oh, it's just fantasy, it's this or that.
Yeah,
but it's all a reflection of how our psyche works.
Yeah, it's just like the creators and writers of that, like they were inspired.
Yeah,
by something.
I mean, it's not real in like the material sense. It's like meta truth.
Yeah, metaphorical. It's all metaphorical analogies and stuff because you can never paint the one truth.
Well, as soon as you put a word to truth, you lose it.
Exactly.
You're putting a label on it.
That's why I like that whole thing, how we're all individually experiencing and perceiving reality individually, because there's not one way to see reality.
No.
There's a collective way to see reality.
Awareness.
Yeah.
Or Ram Dass would say loving awareness.
Yeah. And that's like what the universe wants to do. It wants to duplicate itself into
express, and it's like it's like this awareness is getting more complex. And looking at reality through different perspectives,
see from different angles, so you get more of a different picture.
I agree. I think we're here to learn, grow, play, express.
Learn, grow, play. Fucking hope.
The cosmic giggle.
Yeah, that's it. Fucking.
Actually, I want to ask you, with that Kundalini trip, did that inspire that Big Lez Tumor Island too? Yeah. See, that's what I was thinking of the whole time. Yeah. When you're telling that story.
Definitely. That's that music that I added to it.
Yeah. That's you wrote that music.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome, man.
Thanks, man.
Really.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Before the Kundalini experience, I couldn't write music.
Really?
That's a magical thing.
Did you play music beforehand?
Yeah, I played
right, yeah. But you played like covers and stuff.
Yeah. But I was never able to. I was into metal and I'm still am. But like I was.
It was good learning like the technical aspect of guitar.
Definitely.
That's where I look back. Like I still like it, but it's not nowhere near as much as before. It's like more other types of music.
That's it.
Yeah.
But after that experience, I kept hearing music, like wasn't hearing it. I was just like imagining it. Like I was on a really high, like spiritual high, or whatever you want to call it. Like for a while after, like it lasted for a year almost.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Until it like kind of
dipped down a bit.
Dipped down, and then I like got back into reality or whatever, and started to question it more, and then I like rose back up again. So it comes in waves.
But it's all sacred, isn't it?
This
dimension is just as sacred as
every dimension. Yeah, this is like a dimension where all dimensions are overlapping.
Yeah, almost. And that's what I had to learn, to look at the magic in like the subtleties of life, because I was always trying to push boundaries and have extreme experiences.
Yeah, same. That's what. Yeah.
And then I got punished hard for it. It's like, mate, you don't need us, like the psychedelics or whatever.
Yeah. I got
like
that
you can reach this state without this tool, because you're still in a way like reaching outside yourself. Like it gives you a glimpse, sure, like it helps you connect with yourself, but it's still, you're still going outside yourself to get that experience. Yeah. And it can help. It's like a helping hand.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
And maybe as a reminder every once in a while.
Yeah. So
but the real work is here. Right?
That's it, yeah. That's exactly it. That's what I had to learn as well, because it wasn't from after that first experience, which was my first trying psychedelics as well. It wasn't for after. It's like your first hit is the biggest hit ever, and then you just want to get that again. Yeah. You're just searching for that.
It's usually that first experience which is the most profound.
Yeah.
And that when I look back on all my trips, it's usually the first time, like the first time I had mushrooms, the first time I had ayahuasca, and the first time I had San Pedro. Those were like the actual profound trips that practically changed my life. Yeah. And even though I've had extreme visions and experiences after that, it didn't give a big of an impact as those first ones.
Yeah, that's exactly.
I think there's something there.
The same for me as well. Like that first experience.
Like, it's like, whoa, I remember this.
Yeah.
As we were talking about last night, like that first feeling is like deja vu.
Yeah, it is. You're just like, I've been here. This feels so familiar.
And time doesn't work the way we think.
No way. Like what we were saying for last night is how, like, you know, you zoom out of the earth. If you were to fly up out of the earth and chill in space, you'd just be seeing the world
time lapse
rotating. Yeah.
But I think it was like you said in the Big Lez Show, how people look at trees or rocks and it's like, oh, it's not really alive, or alright, mate. But it's like, it's because it's moving so slowly. Yeah. Like, but if you looked at it, that was based, like a time lapse.
That was based on a trip I had.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I've had that too. So, I've seen my dog. I stared at my dog, and it was just going into old age and white. Wow. Yeah, and just going into cycles. I'm like, fuck.
I've heard stories of that when people look in the mirror and they see that happening to their face.
I wouldn't recommend looking into a mirror for everybody. You just have to be prepared for that shit. Oh yeah. It looks like you just look into a parallel dimension. I remember going to Canada, which is when I had I'd say my first profound LSD trip.
Yeah.
And it was like I was looking in the mirror and I was looking at all these like parallel selves of myself. It was like I'd see like this ancient Chinese warrior, and then it would go into like a woodland elf, and just going through all these different masks and like animals and stuff.
Yeah. I've only had like dreams of that. Like I've had a dream where I was a woman once.
How was that?
And I got killed by a train.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was like, I was like,
I can't remember
something.
I can't remember at all like how it went. I just remember I was a woman back in the old.
I've got boobs.
Yeah, basically, it was just like I was a woman. I think I was about 20, and I was wearing like, you know, back in the Western days or something, those like real big gowns, like the big one pieces. It's just like,
have you seen Westworld?
It's
that kind of style.
Yeah, that style. And I was in a cave where the train ends, and a train was like just fucking coming for me so fast, and I was with my other mate who was a chick, and she was like saying, it's gonna be alright, we're just gonna wake up when this happens. And so I was freaking out, and I was a chick, and I was just going, oh fuck, what's going on? And then the train fucking came, and as soon as it was about to hit my face, like everything lit up white and just went calm, and then I woke up in my bed. I was like, well, holy fuck, I just died and woke up here.
Shit.
And then that's happened.
Just tapping into other realities.
Yeah, or like a memory or something like that, or like possibly.
Have you tried, like, have you lucid dream much?
Yeah, a lot of time. Like,
do you do it like? Do you consciously practice it, or does it just come?
It just kind of happens when it needs to. Like I was telling you, just recently, I had a lucid dream where Sasquatch beings came and visited me, and that was awesome. That was so real. Yeah, pretty much. It was a lot different to like my characters, but they came in. It was just this one big Yowie bloke. That he was really, really tall. His head would be touching the ceiling, and they don't have like necks. It's like the head, and then it's just big, broad shoulders. And just like real scruffy looking face, like it's like human / gorilla / like big brow and like just leathery, and just like dark fur, you know, like really crusty almost fur.
Yeah.
It's just like an animal, you know, but like really sentient, and like really just fucking solid as fuck. And he was standing in the doorway of my old bedroom, because in my house I got these two bedrooms that are next to each other. My brother used to live in the one I'm living in now, and I used to live in this one, but he moved out, so I got the room with a sick view in it now. So in my lucid dream I came out of my house, out of my room, and there was this massive yowie being standing in the doorway of my old room, just looking in my old room. And I like went up to him, and his shoulder was up to here of me standing up, and I was looking up at him like I was a little kid, like talking to a big adult. I was like, "What are you like? What's your name?" and stuff. And this is probably like 4 months ago or 5 months ago.
That's pretty recent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was 2 weeks after I had a Yowie kind of encounter. If you heard on the Josh Wade podcast in the first one, where like I had an experience where I reckon it was one that threw a rock right near me, telling me to like, you know, steer clear, don't come any further. And I was always thinking of that. And then 2 weeks later, I had a lucid dream of this being, and I was asking him. I said, you know, what do I call you? What's your name? And he looked at me, and because he didn't want to make eye contact with me, because I instantly knew that the reason why he wasn't making eye contact with me is because they're so tapped in and so psychic and powerful like that.
Very sensitive.
Yeah, very sensitive. So if he looked in my eyes, he would feel all my pain, all my experiences, and they just don't want to deal with that.
There are a lot of people like that.
Yeah,
definitely. Highly empaths. They're empaths.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll even have stages
Same.
where I'll be like, "Then I can't." Like just me going out in public, and I'll just feel all that pain and suffering, and like it's very easy.
hectic. You got to really
be careful who you hang out with.
Yeah, that's it.
And who you're around.
You gotta strengthen your aura first before you can deal with that shit. I've had many times like gone in shopping centers or like dealing with people, and next like couple of weeks after, you just like, where did these emotions come from?
Yeah.
You backtrack them, and it's just like.
It's even like a lot of the traumas that get stored in our body aren't even ours. Like they go back to our family and stuff.
Yeah.
And I forgot who it was. I think it was like Dr. Bruce Lipton. He's a biologist, and he talks about how trauma.
Brucey.
It takes 7. I don't remember the exact. Fact check this shit yourself. But it's like 7 generations before the trauma gets released, unless you deal with it. Of course. So if you don't deal with your trauma, your kids are gonna deal with that shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Fuck.
And I feel like story of my life.
It's
like I got my own shit to deal with, but I gotta deal with like my parents' shit as well, and their parents and their parents.
Damn it, past generations.
Yeah, but that's all good.
No, that's all good. That's all part of the
game.
game. It's all part of the game, exactly. Like it's not meant to play perfectly each level.
Exactly.
But so this being, he was in my room, right, or looking into my room, and I asked him, "What's your name?" And he like looked at me real quick like that, like, "Uck." And I was like, "So it's Uck?" And like, "Huck." And I was like, "Is it Eck or Uck?" And he was like almost getting annoyed because he had to keep repeating it to me. And he was like, "Huck," like almost breathing in, like, "Huck, Huck, Huck." And it was like a real weird way of talking, and I was like trying to say it back to him. So it's Eck or Uck or Huck, and he's like, Uck. Get it right, mate. Like he didn't really say that, but he's like always did. And
the Aussie equivalent would have said that.
Yeah, exactly. And then all of a sudden, he didn't tell me. They were talking to me telepathically, and he needed a piss. And I was like, "Oh, you can't piss in here. You'll probably flood the fucking place. So I'll take you outside." And all of a sudden, as I'm like sneaking him out, because in my dream, I'm still knowing that my mum's gonna come home from work at lunchtime, like she always does, and I was sleeping in at that same time as well. So actually, when I was actually sleeping as well during this dream, my mum did come home for lunch and then left again before I woke up. And in my actual lucid dream, she came home, and I was hiding this being outside of the fucking laundry door and everything, out into the backyard where he can fang a piss. And he was just like fanging a massive piss on the fence. I was just like hearing it. Fucking hell, it was like a fire hose, mate. And I was just laughing at it, and then like having music and looking up at the house, because I got a 2-story house.
Yeah.
And I was looking up at the kitchen window, like seeing if mum's there making a coffee, and then she's soon got to leave. I was like, "Oh fuck, I hope she doesn't come down and sees this and freaks out." And then all of a sudden there was 2 more beings. One of them was a bit lighter coloured, like almost like white fur, but it was like creamy kinda. And one of them was like a greenish kind of greyish kind of colour. And I was like, "Who are these guys?" But they weren't saying anything. None of them were talking. They don't talk. They feel. They're like very empathic. And they just started, I was just like, oh, we're going to have to chill here, because I was like freaking out, going, what am I going to do with these beings in my house? We're not going to keep you guys. So they just like decided to sit down. They just sat down, legs crossed, and they were just like so happy, just like picking the ground and looking at it, and they were just so peaceful with wherever they were. And I was like looking at them going, like, you're just so peaceful. And then I woke up, and I woke up, and it was that same time of day that was in my dream, so it felt like it just happened, and in real time and everything. And like, all I kept remembering that I took from that dream was Huck, because like I had to repeat it so many times in my dream, so I'd remember it when I wake up.
Yeah, so it's stuck out.
Yeah. And so like ever since then, I've always just like there's this being named Huck that comes and visits me, and he must
make him a Big Lez Show character.
Yeah, he might be in there one day. He's kind of in there. If you look up the SSS video, the Secret Sasquatch Society, he's actually at the very beginning when they get to the SSS, and there's like two Sasquatches talking. Like, oh, Ross, mate, how you going? Like, the one that's named Ross, the big brown one, that I drew that based off what he looks like. But not exactly what he looks like, just the cartoon equivalent of what he looked like.
Yeah, of course.
So if you watch that episode...
Like a bogan cartoon character.
Yeah. He's just big and solid and brown, thick fur and grey body and shit. He's just got a beer in his hand. That's what I drew in that episode, but... looked way more different in my dream, like way more realistic and spiritual, not drinking beer and shit like that. But so if you watch that, that's what he kind of was shaped like. And I actually had a dream this week, a couple of days ago. I had another dream about them again, but it was a female Sasquatch and a younger Sasquatch, and I was in the woods somewhere, and I was looking at footprints on the ground and like different shapes of them, and like a diagram of different footprints, and they all meant something. Like one footprint was like just huge footprint, right, but the toes were kind of separated like that, and then the next footprint will be like some of the toes are closed and some toes are open, like your fingers doing different symbols and fucking all this sort of shit. And I was like looking at trying to understand it, like going, what is this? And then I looked up, and they were like the Sasquatch beings walking past and just giving me like a, how you going? they didn't stop the chat or anything. They just acknowledged me and then kept walking. And I was just like, well, what does all this mean? They're leaving little clues for me to figure out. So I'm still on that kind of journey, I guess. And it's been said about them as well that they're really tapped in, and that they do appear to you in dreams. They would, if you're playing in nature or something and they can see you or they sense your energy or whatever like that, they would be like, who's this guy over here? And they'll come visit you, like because they're like fifth or sixth dimensional beings, that they come walk around in the third and do what they want. They fucking live in nature, they tend to it and make sure everything's all happy. They're like the custodians of the land, and they take care of all that sort of shit. And they can be in the higher dimensions as well. Yeah. And so I had a lot of lucid dreaming experiences with those.
I think it's all information, like whether it's all, like whether it's real, whatever the fuck that means. Or,
what is real?
Yeah, what is real?
How do you define real?
Exactly. But it's like, even if it is just in your head or an actual outside being, it's all information that can help you if you look for it.
It's information that you didn't have before it. Too. So it's just like, you're getting all these ideas that make sense with like the real world, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, it's like, archetypes or metaphors. Yeah. Everything's information.
Like nature, the best teacher in metaphors and anything like that is nature. Like you just, I think it was Einstein that said that, if one observes nature, you observe the characteristics of the universe, or something like that, or the nature of the universe, something like that.
You can see it all, like the balance, the yin and the yang, the chaos, the order, birth, rebirth.
Yeah.
You just have to
circle of life and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Like trees and light and how that's grown and
the people who are so easy to like dismiss it don't even like look at that shit.
Yeah, no, because it's because Neighbours is on 7 o'clock.
Neighbours.
Yeah, it's just like everyone's very occupied. Even I'm occupied with my own things. Like I've got like I can't wait for the new...
we're born in this crazy world too.
Yeah. Like I can't wait for the new Spider-Man game to come out. Like I fucking cannot wait. And it's gonna be epic. Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm gonna be fucking into
because it's not about being a purist. Like people think like, oh, if you're spiritual, that means you can't play video games or you can't have attachments, or you can't have
you have to live out in the hills and...
you just have to express your authentic self, whatever that means to you. It's just for one person, it can mean, I want to live in a monastery or whatever. Yeah. Other people can be like, I want to draw cartoons and teach people and guide people through these turbulent times or whatever it is. Yeah.
Then maybe go for a surf in the afternoon.
Exactly.
it's just experiencing or being or something. You just go with it, and like wherever you're needed, you just like. Yeah, alright, fucking right.
Yeah, and let go of expectations.
Yeah, that's it. A big one. That's fucking it. Yeah, definitely.
And don't fall into the trap of thinking, oh, once I get this, then I'll be happy.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's that thing. That's like if you've got the feeling of wanting something, you're telling yourself you don't have it.
Yeah.
Because you're wanting it. Yeah. But if you tell yourself like, I have everything, I'm happy with. Everything that I'm ever going to own or do or see or whatever has already happened. It's just I'm on my way there.
It's like looking into a reflection into the mirror and trying to change the facial expression by trying to manipulate the mirror. You got to do it first within.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
I think that's actually a good note.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Well, thanks for coming on, brother.
Mate, thanks for having me.
Anything you want to plug or any platforms that you want to share?
When are you releasing this?
I'll say 3 weeks.
3 weeks?
Something like that, yeah.
Right, so the new episode will be out by then. So
I can do it before and then... Because I've got other podcasts, I can just release this before.
Oh, whatever. Well, if this comes out before Christmas, the episode is fucking coming for you.
Maybe that'll be even better, because then the link will already be there.
Yeah, that's it. And then, what else can I say? The next episode after that...
Because everyone's like, where the fuck's the next episode?
Yeah, where the fuck is it? It's like, mate, calm down.
It's like, you're getting it for free.
Just calm down. Just think of it this way. If you're waiting for all these episodes to come out, like out of fucking nowhere, they'll come out all of a sudden and then you'll watch it and be bored with it. But if you wait for it all to happen, when you're older, maybe, you get to look back at the whole lot. How good would that be?
Exactly.
It's not all going to come out tomorrow, mate.
It's so ridiculous. It's like some people genuinely get angry.
Yeah, I know.
It's owe me this.
That's part of that whole wanting thing. We want it now. Fucking consumerists. It's like, calm down, you'll get it. Just calm down. Do something.
It's gonna come.
Come up with your own hobby and fucking go play outside. Exactly. Before you know it, you're like, oh, something's come out.
Just click on the notification bell and then you'll get it.
That's it.
You don't have to continuously ask for it.
That's it.
Cool. But anything else? Any other social media that you want to share? Or?
Well, to go on with that, with the whole waiting for the next episode after this new episode, you're going to be waiting a fucking long time. I'll tell you that. Tell you that much. A fucking long time.
Like a really, really fucking long time.
Like 6 years. No, not really. Probably like 5 months. Because this next episode, after the episode I just made, is going to be a big one, like the last of the season. So
nice. I'm excited.
So it's like Tumor Island 2, like how that was, but it's probably a bit shorter than Tumor Island 2, but another just
like epic,
big chunk, like fucking story compact. You'll see.
Yeah, but be patient. It's coming.
Pick up a drawing. Go out. Fucking play ball or catch some fireflies. I don't know. Go surfing. Go for a dip.
Exactly.
Just take your mind elsewhere. Go outside.
Well, it's been awesome, man. I think we can. There's so many avenues we can go down.
Oh, like, fuck! If we did
I think we definitely have to do a sequel.
It'd be skeletons. Oh yeah, we can just do that as well. Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, we can do that.
Exactly. Sounds good, man.
All right, man.
Thanks for having me.
Cheers.
Thank you.
That's it.
Not really, not.